There comes a time in every man's and every woman's life when the difference between victory and defeat is not the lack of opportunity nor the absence of talent, but the failure to take decisive action. You may carry within your mind the most brilliant ideas, the noblest dreams, and the grandest visions of success, but if you fail to act upon them, they remain nothing more than fleeting shadows. Action is the bridge between thought and reality. Without action, desire remains buried, goals remain distant, and destiny remains unclaimed. The world does not reward the one who only dreams. It rewards the one who dares to act upon the dream. The greatest stumbling block for most people is not ignorance. It is not a shortage of information. We live in a world overflowing with knowledge. Books, teachings, and lessons are scattered everywhere, yet millions sit idle, paralyzed by hesitation. The true obstacle is the unwillingness to compel oneself into action. The human mind has an extraordinary tendency to delay, to wait for the perfect time, to seek comfort in preparation rather than execution. But understand this truth: the perfect time will never come. The stars will never align exactly as you wish. You must create your own perfect moment by moving forward, by stepping into action even when uncertainty surrounds you. How, then, can a person force themselves to act when every fiber of their being seeks delay? It begins with a clear recognition of what an action costs you. For every day you postpone action, life extracts a tax on your potential. Every moment you hesitate is a moment wasted, and wasted moments compound into wasted years. Think of the countless men and women who carried ideas within their hearts but never dared to act. Their inventions went unbuilt, their books unwritten, their businesses unstarted, their lives unlived. They stand as monuments of regret. Regret is the bitter fruit of inaction, and its taste is far more painful than the sting of failure. For he who acts and fails may rise again, but he who never acts will carry the weight of what could have been forever. To force yourself into action, you must seize control of your mind. The human mind is a battlefield of two forces, one urging forward into growth, the other whispering reasons for delay. If you allow those whispers to dominate, you will sink into a life of mediocrity. But if you command your mind to move, regardless of fear or fatigue, you will discover that power multiplies within you. Action creates momentum, and momentum destroys fear. The first step may be the hardest, but once taken, it carries you into the next and the next. It is in movement that courage is born, not in sitting still. One of the most effective ways to compel yourself into action is to attach emotion to your goal. A cold, lifeless desire will not stir the will to move. But when you burn your goal into your imagination with such intensity that you can feel it, touch it, taste it, then the drive to act will awaken. Imagine the life you desire in vivid detail. Picture yourself enjoying the rewards of your effort. See your success as if it were already yours. Then contrast it with the pain of failure, the anguish of living a life below your potential, the despair of regret. The mind, when faced with a vivid picture of reward and punishment, is far more likely to act. Another principle of forcing yourself to take action lies in the power of decision. Indecision is the thief of progress. How many lives have been ruined not by bad decisions, but by the failure to decide at all? The man who waits for certainty will wait until death, but the one who makes firm decisions, who says, "I will act now," develops the habit of forward motion. Do not wait for confidence before acting. Confidence is the child of action, not its parent. Decide quickly, act boldly, and adjust as you move. Life favors those who are decisive. You must also recognize that procrastination is not a harmless delay. It is a silent killer. It creeps into the soul disguised as caution, disguised as patience, disguised as wisdom. But in reality, procrastination is cowardice in its most deceptive form. It whispers that you have tomorrow, that you can begin later, yet later never comes. The graveyards are full of men and women who plan to begin someday. To defeat this enemy, you must create urgency within your spirit. Tell yourself, if not now, when, if not me, who. Let urgency be the fire that drives you forward. Discipline is the master key to action. Discipline means doing what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. The person who waits for inspiration will remain idle, for inspiration is fickle and fleeting. But the disciplined soul rises early, pushes through discomfort, and moves forward regardless of mood. Discipline is forged through repetition, through training the body and mind to obey. Each time you force yourself to act despite resistance, you strengthen the muscle of discipline. Over time, discipline becomes second nature, and you will act automatically without hesitation. Understand also the law of habit. Human beings are creatures of repetition. If you cultivate the habit of delay, of idleness, of excuse making, it will dominate you. But if you cultivate the habit of action, taking small steps daily, no matter how insignificant, they will accumulate into massive progress. Action breeds action. Start small, but start now. Write a single page, make a single call, take a single step. Momentum will carry you farther than you ever imagined. A giant ship moves not by a sudden leap, but by small turns of the engine that set it in motion. Fear often holds men captive from action. Fear of failure, fear of ridicule, fear of the unknown. Yet fear is nothing more than a shadow in the mind. It grows larger the longer you stare at it, but it dissolves the moment you walk toward it. The only cure for fear is action itself. When you act in spite of fear, you rob it of its power. Many discover that the thing they feared was never as terrible as they imagined. In truth, fear is a signal not to retreat, but to advance. Fear indicates where your greatest growth lies. Confront it head on with decisive action, and you will find freedom. You must also surround yourself with influences that ignite action rather than stifle it. The company you keep shapes your behavior. Walk with the idle, and you will become idle. Walk with the driven, and you will feel compelled to rise. Choose carefully those whose voices you allow into your life. Align yourself with men and women of energy, of ambition, of forward momentum. Their spirit will awaken your own. Likewise, guard your environment. Create surroundings that push you toward work, not comfort. A man who wishes to act cannot afford to be chained by distractions. Eliminate them ruthlessly. Time is the most precious resource given to mankind, yet it is the most carelessly wasted. Every hour that passes is an hour that will never return. To force yourself into action, keep this truth ever before you. You are mortal, and your days are numbered. Someday, perhaps sooner than you think, your time will run out. Let this reality fuel your urgency. Life is not a rehearsal. This is your one chance. Why squander it in hesitation when you could be building a legacy? Each morning, remind yourself that this day is a gift. Rise with purpose, move with speed, and act with resolve. Consider also the principle of accountability. Man is far more likely to act when he knows he will be held responsible. Share your goals with those you trust. Create deadlines that others are aware of. Promise results that you must deliver. When your word is on the line, your pride will not allow you to remain idle. Accountability transforms vague intentions into firm obligations. Use this principle to your advantage until the habit of self-discipline is strong enough to carry you alone. There will be times when fatigue, discouragement, or setbacks tempt you to stop. But remember that persistence is the twin brother of action. One act alone may not produce results, but repeated acts, sustained over time, carve mountains into valleys. The man who refuses to quit, who keeps forcing himself to move when others stop, becomes unstoppable. Obstacles are not signals to retreat, but challenges to rise higher. Each barrier you overcome strengthens your will. hardens your resolve, and proves that you are master of yourself. Ultimately, the power to force yourself into action lies in understanding that no one else will live your life for you. No savior will come to hand you discipline, no teacher can give you willpower, no friend can make decisions for you. You alone must rise and command yourself. You alone must say, "I will act." You alone must break the chains of hesitation and step into destiny. The world owes you nothing, but it will open its treasures to the one who dares to act with courage and persistence. Therefore, begin now. Do not wait for a better hour, for the better hour is this one. Do not wait for the right conditions, for the right conditions are those you create. Force yourself to move, and the path will reveal itself as you walk it. Step boldly into the arena of life. Strike while the fire is within you. Let your actions speak louder than your doubts, for it is not the thinker, nor the dreamer, nor the planner who wins the crown of life. It is the doer. The choice stands before you now. Continue as you are, bound by hesitation, or rise this very moment and force yourself into the action that will alter your destiny. Greatness is never given freely. It is seized by those who act. Your time is now. Take the step. Command your will. Force yourself forward, and in that forceful action you will find the secret of transformation, the seed of power, and the fulfillment of your life's purpose. There is a hidden law of the universe that reveals itself only to the one who takes action. Opportunities seldom reveal their full form to the one who stands still. They appear in fragments, in faint outlines, visible only to the eye that moves forward. Action sharpens vision. The man who waits for clarity before acting will remain blind, while the man who acts will see the path unfold step by step. This is why fortune favors the bold, not because boldness guarantees perfection, but because boldness ensures movement, and movement awakens possibility. One of the gravest mistakes that holds people back is the illusion of preparation. Preparation has its place, but too often it becomes a hiding place. People spend years preparing to act, rehearsing, gathering knowledge, reading, planning, but never crossing the threshold into execution. The truth is that no amount of preparation will ever substitute for the lessons learned through doing. Books can teach principles, teachers can provide guidance, but experience alone provides mastery. And experience is won only by action. It is far better to act imperfectly and adjust along the way than to remain paralyzed waiting for certainty. Every moment you act, you train your mind to obey your command. You prove to yourself that your will is greater than your excuses, and once the mind learns that you mean what you say, it becomes your greatest servant. But if you continually say you will act and fail to follow through, your mind no longer trusts you. It begins to side with your fears to reinforce your delays. Therefore, the greatest favor you can do for yourself is to follow your own word with immediate action. Let your promises to yourself become sacred vows that cannot be broken. The habit of immediate action is one of the most powerful tools any person can possess. Every time an idea strikes, act on it in some small way. Write it down, make a call, take a step. Do not allow the spark to fade into forgetfulness. Ideas are like visitors. They must be welcomed instantly or they vanish into the night. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary is not that one receives more ideas, but that one acts upon them swiftly and relentlessly. There will be times when your body resists, when fatigue whispers that you deserve rest, when distraction tempts you to waste the hour. These moments are the true battlegrounds, for it is easy to act when you feel strong and motivated. It is when you feel weak and uninspired that your decision carries the most weight. Each time you overcome your lower self and force action in those moments, you grow tenfold stronger. The soul respects itself when it sees discipline prevail over weakness. The world will not wait for you to be ready. Opportunities pass quickly, and they rarely knock twice. History is filled with men and women who hesitated for a moment too long and lost the chance of a lifetime. But it is also filled with those who leapt boldly, sometimes unprepared, yet who discovered in action the very strength and resources they needed. Life rewards movement. The universe seems to bend itself in favor of the one who dares to act. Therefore, the question is not whether you know enough, whether you feel ready, or whether the time is perfect. The question is whether you are willing to command yourself into motion now. For when you do, unseen forces align, hidden strength emerges, and the doors you feared were locked swing wide open. The secret of power lies not in thought alone, but in thought expressed through action. To think without acting is to dream without living. To act, even imperfectly, is to breathe life into your vision. Remember this truth as you leave these words behind. You were not born to hesitate, to linger in doubt, or to bury your gifts in fear. You were born to create, to build, to move, to act. Your destiny waits not in tomorrow, but in this moment. Seize it, claim it, and force yourself into action, for in action lies your freedom, your growth, and the fulfillment of everything you were created to become. There is a hidden reservoir of power within every individual that remains dormant until it is awakened by deliberate action. That power cannot be tapped by wishful thinking, nor by idle planning, nor by endless dreaming. It only comes alive the moment you command yourself to move, even when the conditions appear unfavorable. In fact, the very act of pressing forward when the way seems uncertain is what summons the strength you did not know you possessed. It is in struggle, in friction, in the resistance against comfort, that the human spirit reveals its greatest force. You must remind yourself daily that life is not a rehearsal. Too many live as if they have unlimited time, postponing their calling until tomorrow, only to discover that tomorrow has been stolen by delay. Each day wasted in hesitation is a day subtracted from your opportunity to build, to grow, to achieve. Time is a currency, and every second you spend in inaction is wealth squandered forever. The most successful men and women are not those who had the most time, but those who used their time most decisively. The moment you act, you purchase progress. The moment you delay, you purchase regret. Which investment will you choose? Consider how nature itself rewards immediate action. The seed that remains unplanted holds only potential, but the seed that is pressed into the soil, exposed to risk, watered, and nurtured, becomes the mighty tree. The river that flows cuts through mountains because it does not wait. It moves continually, carving a path where none existed. Life honors the principle of forward motion. The longer you stay still, the more resistance builds against you, but the instant you push forward, momentum begins to serve you. Your mind may attempt to deceive you with the false comfort of waiting until you feel ready. But readiness is not an emotion. It is a choice. Action creates readiness. The man who says, "I will wait until I feel courageous," will never know courage, for courage is born in the very act of stepping into fear. The woman who says, "I will begin when I feel motivated," will never achieve, for motivation arrives as a reward for action, not as a prerequisite. Do not wait to feel. Act first, and the feelings will follow. To force yourself to act, you must also raise your standards. A man who accepts mediocrity will never find urgency to move beyond it. But the man who demands greatness of himself, who refuses to tolerate a life half-lived, cannot rest until he acts. Your standards are the thermostat of your destiny. If you expect little of yourself, you will tolerate delay. But if you expect excellence, if you hold yourself to the highest demand, then inaction becomes unbearable. Raise the bar, and you will find the will to move. Think of those whose names are remembered throughout history. They were not the cautious ones, not the hesitant ones, not the fearful ones. They were those who acted when others stalled, who moved when others doubted, who seized opportunities before they faded. The world is not changed by those who planned alone, but by those who had the audacity to act. You too have within you the seed of greatness, but it will remain buried unless you are willing to force it into the soil of action. So decide this very moment that hesitation will no longer master you. Decide that from this day forward, when a worthy goal presents itself, you will act without delay. Even if your steps are small, even if your progress is imperfect, act anyway. Each act compounds, each decision strengthens, each movement builds upon the last. Soon you will look back and realize that by forcing yourself to act, you have built a life of power, discipline, and fulfillment. The destiny you once only imagined will become the reality you are living. The final truth is this: no one else can take action for you. No teacher, no mentor, no leader can move your hands or walk your path. You alone are the commander of your will. If you delay, you alone bear the weight of regret. But if you act, you alone will taste the reward of achievement. The choice is laid before you, and the moment of decision is now. Force yourself to act, and you will unleash the boundless potential that has been waiting within you all along. The difference between those who accomplish much and those who accomplish little is rarely intelligence or talent. It is not wealth, luck, or circumstance. The difference lies in the relentless decision to act while others pause, to strike while others hesitate, to move while others wait. Action is the dividing line. You may know someone with more skill, more resources, or more favorable conditions, but if you move forward while they remain stuck in indecision, you will surpass them. The world does not crown the one who could have, it crowns the one who did. Many sit and imagine how life might be different if only they had taken certain steps earlier. They reflect on opportunities passed by, relationships neglected, ideas never pursued. They long for a chance to go back in time. But there is no return. The past is fixed, unchangeable, sealed forever. The only way to redeem wasted years is to act now with such urgency that you compress time, that you accomplish in months what others stretch over decades. One decisive year of disciplined action can outweigh 10 years of idleness. The habit of delay grows stronger the more it is fed. Each time you say, "I will do it later," you train your mind to accept postponement. Before long, postponement becomes second nature, and tasks pile upon tasks until they bury your will beneath them. But the opposite is also true. Each time you act immediately, you train your mind to respect your command. Soon, immediate action becomes instinct. Your mind learns that hesitation has no place in your life, and your body follows your will without argument. The transformation begins with a single decision to refuse delay. To force yourself to act, you must sometimes strip away your options. Too many choices create paralysis. When you burn the bridges behind you, when you eliminate the escape routes, you leave yourself no alternative but to move forward. The general who burns his ships ensures that his men will fight with unmatched determination, for retreat is impossible. So it is with your goals. Remove the crutches, close the back doors, and leave yourself no path but forward. Necessity awakens action. There will be days when the mountain of your task seems too great, when the size of your vision intimidates you into silence. In those moments, break it into smaller steps. No man builds a cathedral in a single stroke. He lays brick upon brick, each day a little more, until one day the cathedral stands tall. Likewise, your success is built in daily increments. Force yourself to take the next step, however small, and the accumulation of these steps will create a masterpiece. It is not comfort that makes a man great, but struggle. Comfort lulls you to sleep. Struggle wakes you to life. Each time you force yourself to act against resistance, you sharpen your spirit. You prove to yourself that you are master of circumstance and not its slave. And once you master yourself, the world cannot hold you back. For the greatest victory is not over others, but over your own hesitation. The call to action is always urgent, for life is always passing. Today is yours, tomorrow is uncertain, and yesterday is gone. The man who acts today is the man who writes his destiny. The one who delays waits for fate to decide for him, and fate is rarely kind to those who wait. Do not allow hesitation to rob you of your purpose, your strength, your future. The choice is ever before you. Act or delay, rise or remain, live or simply exist. So take this moment as your turning point. Decide that from this day forward you will be a person of action. Refuse to wait for motivation, refuse to bow to fear, refuse to surrender to comfort. Command your body, command your mind, and move forward without delay. For in every act of decisive movement, you carve a path toward the life you desire. And when you look back years from now, you will thank yourself for the courage you showed today. Action is the seed of greatness, and greatness begins the moment you act. In the end, everything you desire, every dream you hold, every goal you seek, every vision you cherish, comes down to this single choice: will you act or will you wait? The difference between the man who lives fully and the one who dies with regret is not knowledge, not talent, not luck, but the decision to move forward despite fear, despite uncertainty, despite imperfection. Life rewards the doer, not the dreamer. It crowns those who act with courage, not those who merely imagine greatness. You hold within you the same power that shaped every hero, every innovator, every leader the world has ever known. That power is awakened the moment you compel yourself to take action, so do not linger in hesitation another moment. Rise now, act now, begin now, for this moment, this very breath, is your chance to seize destiny. And if you do, your future will testify that you were one who did not wait. You were one who acted, and because you acted, you prevailed.